Hello and welcome back to Inside the Message. I'm excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to be here too.
Great message today. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really enjoyed delivering it today and sharing it with everyone.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It was really wonderful. And what I really liked about it was you really kind of let the genie out of the bottle and you shared with our community, what our purpose is, what is our mission. And you may have been wondering that if you've been following along these last few weeks, what are these guys really up to? What are we really doing? And I think you really kind of opened the door. And so I would like to talk about that a little bit. So share with me what your vision is of 1,000 people who are waking up to the truth and true thought as we talk about it.
Yes. Well, so as I wanted to share part of my story is the gift of awakening as an individual is the gift of you. And when we're asleep, we're not available to really be who we are. I mean, we are these divine emanations of Spirit of God. And when we're living a life based upon constructs and conditions, we're not really being our authentic self. And so we're not really truly available to our spouses, to our partners, to our families. And most importantly, we're not really available to be that channel for Spirit. And so what I have experienced as I awaken, as I have awakening experiences and as I commit my life to that, is that I return to my authentic self. I return to my divine identity, and I'm joyful and I'm giving my gifts. My gift is different than your gift, is different than your gift. It's unique. It's some aspect of love, but it expresses through each of us uniquely. So awakening in 1,000 individuals awakening at this time is the example of Jesus awakening to the Christ concept, to the Christ as Jesus. And look at how that changed everything. And we are at this point in our world, in our human evolution, in our conscious evolution, in our spiritual evolution, where we really have this opportunity to have awakened beings in our lived experience, Christ beings in our lived experience. Imagine 1,000, awake at this time, at this juncture, how that can shift our world. And I believe we are being called to do that. And to do that, if we just inspire 1,000, and there are others out there inspiring, individuals, but if that's just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, think of all of the effect that has in our experience of life, individually and collectively, and the world. I think
it's almost unimaginable, but I believe that's the tip of the spear, so to speak. But I think many more people are waking. I think it's actually happening, and it's absolutely happening. And it's not just my thought, it's what Spirit's sharing with us.
Yes.
From the teachers that we've been following for many years now. And it's been the undertone of what's been, been talked about since the millennium, literally. And so we've passed a couple of markers, if you will, and we are in this place now. And I think it's important because I think it's important for people that are with us here on this journey. And that would, we hope that's you, and that you would raise your hand and say, okay, we're going to go with you, and we're going to be on this journey with you. Because the interesting thing about the power of consciousness is that at the lower energy levels, it's very weak. In other words, it takes a lot of people to operate in a frequency of hatred to have even a minimal impact. And we're seeing hundreds and hundreds, actually thousands of people in our country and around the world right now that are operating from a paradigm of anger and frustration, and that's okay. I mean, they have a right to be expressing as they are, but if we're coming from an energy of anger and hatred, it takes a lot of people to have an impact. And so when we look at just a handful of people, or even one person, like Jesus Christ, it's been said that there were no wars in the world when Jesus was here for that period of time when he was on the earth and working. His energy was having such a huge influence globally because of his high consciousness. So one person that is elevating and growing, evolving in consciousness can offset, that's thinking in a positive, loving way, can offset hundreds, in fact, thousands of other people who are operating from a lower level of consciousness. And I think that's what's really exciting about about our purpose and our mission, our vision of helping 1,000 people move beyond, I'm going to say, the everyday kind of mundane of daily living, whatever that looks like right now. It's it is what it is. But we can be loving, we can be accepting, we can be allowing. In the midst of what appears to be very negative energy, we can still hold a high level of vibration and consciousness, and we can do that by coming together as community. Well,
and I think the imperative is out there that now is the time that there's always been a call for awakening or to evolving in consciousness. I just believe with my whole heart and soul that this is such an opportune moment during this pause, during this rebirthing that we are experiencing. And I kind of shared about the discomfort of the times that we're living in, that it can be disorienting, it can be depressing, it can be cause an off balance, if you will, that sensation. Some of us have felt lost. Some of us have felt like what we were counting on as being meaningful in our lives was completely shattered with what has been going on. And the unrest that we see reflected out in our society, in our country, in the world right now, not only through the coronavirus, but through political systems, and things are shifting and they're crumbling, and it can be unsettling, and yet let us take on that it can be also so very exciting that we have this new opportunity to redefine and to reset and to rebirth something new and different. And so while it's unsettling when things are disappearing, or there seems to be a sense of loss, in there is a gap, if you will. And I believe that we're in this gap right now, and where we have the opportunity and the decision to awaken, the decision to, and you can put your own words in it. We know that the word awakening has been out there for a long time. Yes. Yeah. We know that it's taken on different meanings and connotations, and we can share what we believe that it means. But what's most important is following your heart's desire, your passion, and your divine guidance of whatever that is. And to be that now, to be a stand for love, to be a stand for peace, to be a stand for joy, to be a stand for awakening, whatever it is for you. But like, we have this opportunity, and energetically we're being supported. And so I do believe, I agree with you completely. It is already happening.
Absolutely.
And I think it's also a time, part of the conversation today was also the reminder that if you are experiencing a challenge right now, if you're feeling depressed or unsettled or experiencing a dark night of the soul, to hang tight, to hang in there, to join in community, whether it's this community or another community for you. We hope it's this community, but to join in a community that can help support, that is speaking evolution, is speaking love, is speaking awakening. Because
well, it is speaking truth, because the truth is,
right.
This is happening because we have said, I want to wake up.
Yes.
We have said, I want to see a different world. We have said, I want peace in the world. We have said, I want to experience heaven on earth. We being those who have said those things. And maybe, it's a saying that's very profoundly deep and true, that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And the teaching has been coming, and it's been coming in a big, big way. And we've really been embracing it now for several years. And we've been wanting to share it more vocally and to be more out there. And it makes some people uncomfortable, albeit it does make some people uncomfortable. But there are others, and we believe it's you, that are ready to hear more about the positive things that are happening. That's a result, yes, the new can only come at the cost of the old, but the positive things that are going to be unfolding as we begin to embrace each other more lovingly, more passionately, more empathetically, more caring, and more people will experience less and less aloneness, less and less depression, less and less feeling like they're not loved, because there's going to be literally more love in the world. But it's going to only come as these other systems begin to break down that were in support of fear, because they're only, as Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, there's only fear, there's only two emotions, and we can put levels and degrees on each one of them, if you will. But truthfully, there's only two emotions, and that's fear and love. And the energy of fear has been really trumpeted for so long. And its day is coming to an end, and love is being spoken, and love is being honored and celebrated more and more and more. And I think that's really the takeaway, and that's really what I got out of your message today. This is something to celebrate.
It is something to celebrate, and it's something to decide today.
To participate in.
It's a decision. So when you talk about love or fear, part of what I shared in the message was a personal experience that I had when I was experiencing a lull or a dark night of the soul, where I know this teaching, I know the principles, but I wasn't feeling it. And I was grappling with and having a battle, if you will, of that love, knowing that's what I want to be choosing, and yet experiencing fear and doubt and off balance. And, these things happen when there are sudden shifts in our experience, or there are sudden shifts, just like the miracle is a sudden shift of perception,
right.
Sometimes a sudden shift in the conceptual agreements that we've made and built our world on can be unsettling when they begin to fall apart. And that's what I was experiencing. And as I called forth, Spirit, just, teach me, illuminate for me. And in my sleep, dream, waking moment, seeing the shadow of fear, which I was knowing to be as regret, what I was knowing as resentment and
as
anger.
Your own fear, really, you're saying.
Right, was creeping
Your own
into
thoughts.
my space and my heart and mind, and that I had to emphatically say, no, I choose to be happy, I choose love, I choose to awaken. And in that choice, it receded. But there was this point where I really, and again, this was in a lucid dream state, that I had to declare it. And so often we want to say, and both, or that there are gray areas, or, that there can be a compromise. And I'm learning that no, there really isn't. It is really you choose. You choose one or the other, and you can't really occupy the same space at the same time in consciousness. And so what our practice is through true thought principles, through spiritual practice, is to practice these principles. And what I talked about today was that, making the choice and then intending that our life is for that, is dedicated to that choice, and then being vigilant, moment by moment by moment. So
I love that part of your story, because that's really so important that we understand that we have to, there's nobody outside of us that's going to save us at the end of the day. I mean, if we're looking for government to save us, or we're looking for science to save us, or whatever, they can bring comfort on occasion. But the actual process of transcending this experience can only come from within us, each of us. Even Jesus, when he told his disciples, so you're at the beginning then? In other words, you've got to do it for yourself. He can't do it for anybody. And there are a lot of people that pray to Jesus to save them, and he loves everyone, because as we evolve consciously, we all begin to love everything because we see ourselves in everything. But it's up to my children, if you will, to as they mature, to make their own decisions, to chart their own way, because we are all the energy of the Creator in action. The experiences we're having are the experiences that we are creating.
Yeah.
And that's part of the teaching of True Thought. And so we hope that you'll hang with us and stay with us, because there's a lot more to come in breaking this down and really beginning to understand, what this journey is, what this process is. But at the same time, it's extremely simple. But we have to get past our own conditioned beliefs, and that's where the real work's at, because we have so much commitment to what we've been taught, what's been handed down to us, not necessarily with bad intentions, although sometimes that happens. But the point is, we have to let go of our way of waking up and surrender ultimately, and allow ourselves to be led into a new way of being and a new way of seeing the world, seeing ourselves in this world, to be of the world, right?
Right.
Or rather to be in the world rather than of the world, because that's really the choice that we're making.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. We've already begun to lay the foundational principles in the messages that we have given so far. And, it really does begin with our divine identity, which is the first several messages that we give, and is infused really in all of our messages, and through the practice of the Holy Instant. And then we've gotten to the point where we've laid the foundation for the way things work, and beginning with the truths that thoughts are things, and that all events are neutral. And then we moved into faith versus faithlessness. And then today, really just kind of going back to the goal. The goal always belongs at the beginning. And one of the things that, we're experiencing as we're creating and allowing Spirit to create through us True Thought spiritual community, is we're getting clearer and clearer on what our purpose is, what our why is. And as we do that, we get so excited. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're excited. We're so very grateful for those who have started early on in this journey with us. That we have 2 founding members that were early on supporters and early on contributors, and those who have joined our email list and are liking and sharing, and then while we're developing, and you're being so patient with us while we develop our purpose, but we have a curriculum, and we're just brimming over with such excitement of what we have to share. And part of what I shared today in the messages, it's not the same without you. It's we need one another, and so thank you for being with us, for supporting us, and for...
Well, for giving us the strength to do the hard work, because
Yeah.
without you being there, without you, clicking through and connecting with us, in whatever format we're available to use right now for us, and we've got lots of great ideas that are coming through, as you're referring to, that we're excited to. We don't want to let the genie out of the bottle too quickly, but we've got, we're just so inspired of the opportunities that are beginning to manifest, and the people that are connecting with us and sharing their ideas. And if you have ideas, you can go to our website, truethought.org. There's at the bottom of the homepage, you can just email us there at info@truethought.org and share your ideas, share your questions, and let us know you're there, because there are times when we're exhausted, and there are times when we feel like, oh, are we doing the right thing? Is this what we should be doing? Or should I get a job at Amazon or Kroger's between midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning, or whatever? We've got to survive, but
No.
financially. But the point is that we are so inspired because you're here and you're involved in our community.
Yeah.
And we really believe that a lot more people are coming, because this is an energy that's an attractor. Okay, we're like magnets. We're all like magnets. And as we raise our consciousness, as we evolve consciously, as we begin to open up to truth, and we allow it to be a part of our lives, more of that energy is attracting more people with that same energy. Like attracts like. And there are more people coming to this truth, to this teaching, and are going to be joining us as community, wherever you are and wherever we may be, as we're traveling around and doing what we intend to do in the next year.
But what brings us the most joy and happiness is watching those around us awaken.
Sharing their experiences with us.
Awakening to their divine identity, to the light that comes forth within them. When I see that in you, when you're moved to tears, or when we're laughing, we're enjoyment of what we're doing, because we're on purpose, and because we're being called to do this, and because we believe in you, and that when we see you blossom and awaken, that's what we're here for, to inspire that in one another.
Exactly.
And so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel honored and blessed to be with you, and to be with you doing this. This is our dream.
It is our dream.
We're so very happy.
And we're so happy that you're a part of our dream, really.
Yeah, it's a happy dream. So thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Is
We
there
love you.
anything else? Or?
No, I think we're good. And
That's a wrap?
Yeah, I just want to, again, thanks for hanging out with us and staying to the end here of this video. And if you would, please just hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you hit the bell, you'll be notified when we set up new messages. This episode of Inside the Message is the first time that we've put this in the middle of the week rather than right after the Sunday message. And so we want to give the Sunday message time for people to get into that and understand the message. And then when we get here to this point of Inside the Message, it's another way of revisiting it in the middle of the week. And if you have questions, if you have comments, share your comments here with us.
Well, aren't we going to open this up now afterwards and have a connecting Zoom?
Right. We'll put an email out with a link. So if you're getting that, you'll know about that. You've been invited, so to speak, if you're part of our email list. If you're not getting that, go to our website, join our email list there. So people that are on our email list will have a link. We are going to have an interactive Zoom session immediately following this episode tonight. So we really appreciate you being here. God bless you. And thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.